Thank you very much for having me. My name is Oliver Fritz, and I'm the co-portfolio manager of the European and the Eurozone Focus Fund. And today I want to show you that alpha generation and ESG are not mutually exclusive. Thank you. If you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So who are we at Berenberg? We are a 430-year-old private bank, actually the second oldest bank in the world. But we are, as an equity asset management platform, we are among a very young platform. We started in 2017, where our partners have decided that they wanted to launch their own equity asset management. The good thing about us is that we are 14 portfolio managers, with most of them having extremely strong track records at their past employers, at Allianz Global Investors or DWS. And we have basically been able to really start off from scratch. We were able to build our own corporate culture. We were able to look for the right people. We didn't have any legacy. We could do all the good things that we thought were necessary to help us perform and to find people where everyone has the same investment philosophy. And I think this has been very critical for the success that we've had so far. If you can go to the next slide, please. And as you can see here, these are the funds that we've launched over the last couple of years with basically a very good performance. So ranging from the European microcap funds that invest in very small companies, all the way to the Berenberg Global Focus Fund that invests globally primarily in large caps. You can see that in all of our funds, we have a top 10 percentile performance in our Morningstar peer group, and all funds that are already 3 years old have a 5-star Morningstar rating. This is something that we're very proud of, and this shows that our investment philosophy works. And can we go to the next slide, please? We've won multiple awards. And one that I would like to highlight is that we're named the best small asset manager in Europe. Thank you very much. So how did we do this? And now I want to show you a bit more about our philosophy. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we think the reason for our success is our extremely disciplined investment approach. Yeah? So what does it mean? We focus on high quality companies that have high barriers to entry. So they either have a particularly strong knowledge or particularly strong technical know-how. They either have a strong brand that is hardly to replicate, like Moncler, for example, or Gucci, or they have simply a scale advantage that no one else can come up with. Yeah? But it doesn't just help you that you have a great company with a strong moat. You need to be invested. You need to have a structural growing market behind you that helps you grow the company. And therefore, we primarily focus on 5 structural growth markets, which I will elaborate on further. And the third point is we are long-term investors, and that's why we are so focused on sustainability, because it is our view that you cannot run a company successfully if you don't focus on all your stakeholders. It might work in the short term, but in the long term, a company can only be successful if it really cares about all its stakeholders and cares about its sustainability criteria. We are very much a bottom-up house, and where we differ from many of our peers is that we don't just speak to management. We don't just do sell-side research. We also speak to former employees. We speak to clients of the companies. We speak to competitors of the companies to really get a 360-degree view of the company, the way it acts with its stakeholders, and how sustainable its growth is. The fifth point is we have a very, very concentrated portfolio. In Europe, we run between 40 to 50 stocks. In Eurozone, even less so. And we are completely benchmark agnostic. Yeah, we invest based on our conviction, where we see the strongest long-term return, and we don't care whether that's the largest company in an index or the smallest. We just focus on where we can get the best returns. And lastly, another differentiating criteria, the portfolio managers are doing their own ESG research, because, as we said before, we as portfolio managers, we understand the company extremely well, and we need to decide what is material for a company, because we can't find the long-term sustainable winners if we don't think about the ESG criteria that a company is doing. And that differentiates us from many other companies where the ESG analyst is doing the work. For us, we as portfolio managers are doing the work because it is an integrated part of our investment philosophy. Thank you. To next slide, please. Thank you. So where do we find these high quality businesses that have a structural growth aspect to it? And we have them in five different sectors: the consumer sector, the technology sector, the industrial sector, the financial sector, and the healthcare sector. And when we look at these structural growth drivers that we are seeing here, we can clearly see that many of them are linked to a more sustainable, a greener world. So we don't see ESG as a risk factor. We see it as a alpha generation factor. And a great example is the Italian company Carel, that is one of the leader in optimizing energy efficiency. What are they doing? They are producing controlling units for refrigerators as well as for air conditionings, and they are basically helping supermarkets as well as industrial companies to save a significant amount of energy. So at the one hand, they are profiting from the growth towards the green transition. At the same time, they are also helping their customers save money. So we think this is a perfect example where sustainability and having a competitive advantage, and because of that, having a structural growing end market, can go hand in hand. Another example would be Infineon, which is the largest chip manufacturer for automobile vehicles, particularly for electric vehicles. It wouldn't be possible to produce an electric vehicle with a significant amount of sensors and chips, and Infineon is the global market leader. So they are heavily involved in the green transition of the entire mobility market, and at the same time they are heavily profiting from the growth that they are seeing there, and their technological edge and their investments helps them to really stay ahead of everyone else. Thank you very much. We can go to the next slide. And this is, as I've mentioned before, the key edge for us is that we as portfolio managers are doing the ESG integration. And I think that's what is really differentiating us from many of our peers, because we know the companies best and we know how to best find out what is material and what is not material. And if we can go to the next slide, please. And what you can see here, while we are not a dedicated ESG fund per se, our way of investing and our focus on sustainability is giving us the highest possible ESG rankings. That was it from my side. Thank you very much for taking the time.